Hi, teacher. Good afternoon.
Hello, Annelise. Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
That's great. I'm fine, thanks. We're going to start the class with you then. All right. Look, now that you're here, I'm going to show you very briefly the first strategies that we have, and I'm going to try to explain how to use them and how to understand them. All right?
Okay.
Okay, good. So look, it's very short. The first part, it was only three strategies, but it's interesting because we were able to work the whole class with only those three strategies. The thing is that you can understand more or less how to use them. And for example, this is the first question for you, Annelise. What are the problems that you feel that you have when you're speaking? Do you think that there's something that you need to improve? Or what do you think about your speaking skills?
Yes, I think my vocabulary. I have to expand because there are some words that I can't remember.
All right, that's really good to know. Besides, for example, the vocabulary, what kind of vocabulary are you interested in? Because we're going to do something. It's not that I'm going to give you all these words, but we're going to have a way of working in which you're going to look for three new words, almost like for every class. All right, for every class. So, what is the kind of vocabulary that you're interested in, Annelise?
Uh, I am interested in vocabulary for beer, but
Okay.
I want to know too a vocabulary that we use in normal days too.
All right, that's great to know. So, look, it's going to be like something independent. Right now, I'm going to show you the strategies. These are the ones, very briefly. First, we're going to learn how to deal with these pauses, with these ideas that we don't know how to fill in, right? Sometimes we stop and we want to think in the exact word and so on. So the three strategies that we learned with your partners in the last classes are the following. One, to paraphrase complex ideas. The second one, to explain instead of using Spanish, right? Some people rather use Spanish, but that's not the thing you have to do, right? It's better to explain and use more words in English. And the last one, use synonyms or similar expressions and not try to find and try to say a specific word. Because if you're waiting to remember specific words, you're wasting time there and you are losing the fluidity that you need to have. So with that in mind, all right, with that in mind, we're going to start the second part that is new for all of you, Valentina and Annelise. This is the second part of those strategies. We're going to start by reading the first one. And Annelise, please, you're going to read the first strategy, the first part, please. Expand your vocabulary, what you were saying.
Okay, I have to the first one, the first point.
Exactly, the first point, please.
Okay, learning new words day in. Day out is a good way to widen your vocabulary. Commit to a suitable target. It can be 3 daily words, or it can be 10 daily words.
Perfect, thank you very much. And the second part, please, Valentina, the second point. It's important.
It's important that you learn words in groups. For example, you refer to beverage,
Good. Beverages, beverages.
beverages as a glass of wine, a pint of beer, a cup of tea, a pot of coffee, etc.
Thank you
How can
very
I
much.
say etc. in English, teacher?
It's just like that, etc., etc. Just
Etc.
changes the is like English, right? But it's etc.
Etc. It's better to learn those phrases that merely wine, beer, tea, and so on.
Thank you very much. Now let's try to understand everything. Look, we're talking about vocabulary. And Elise, you mentioned these words, right? Vocabulary. So it's really important. It's really, really important to expound our own vocabulary. Just by looking at this explanation, what is a synonym of expand? What do you say? There is a word there. What is a synonym of expand? Do you have any idea? It's in the first.
Maybe amplify? No?
Okay, okay, good, good. Yes, you're using other words, but it's great. To amplify, it's also similar to expand. But here in the first point, there is a word that is also a synonym to expand. What do you think that word is?
To widen?
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Thank you. To widen. Widen something is expanding something, okay? It's making something bigger. It means that the amount of words that you know in English is going to increase. And this is important, all right? Again, we're going to do this with you, and I'm going to see how committed, right, you are. Who can explain the meaning of commitment? Because you have the verb there. Commit to a suitable target. Again, now that we're learning vocabulary, it's important that you can understand all those words and that you can explain those words not using Spanish, right? Only in English. Try to go with the words you know. What is to commit? And what is to be committed? What do you say? Anybody? The word is there. Again, I'm going to be like this to highlight it.
It can be to put out like 100% in one thing that you are doing.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much, Viviana. You are correct. When you give, right? When you give your 100%, when you do your best, and you say, okay, I'm going to do it because I'm going to do it, right? That's to be committed. That's commit to someone or to something, right? So it says you have to commit to a suitable target. What is a suitable target? What do you say? Let's try, I'm going to be asking you now this time. Let's try with you, Valentina. For you, what is suitable? What is something similar to suitable?
Suitable, teacher?
Exactly. This one, this word over here. What do you think it could be? Or Valentina, or you can tell me what is target and try to explain again your words.
It's a specific group. Also, for example, when you are studying marketing, you need to know your target for where your product is, for who your product is better, right?
Okay, that's perfect. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. The target is where you want to get, right? In your case, you want to get to a group of people, a specific group of people, right? You need to find what's the best kind of people for that specific product, right? Target. Let's try with you now, please. Annalise, do you have any idea what could suitable be? What do you think is suitable? This word over here.
Appropriate, maybe.
Okay, that's perfect. Yes, that's a really good synonym. The appropriate, right? You want to, even you can use the word I just used, the right target, the appropriate target, something that works very well for that, right? That is suitable. You can also use a verb that is fit, right? To fit is something that is appropriate for a place. If you fit in a group, it means that you belong to that group, that you are appropriate for that group, right? To fit. So this is what you're going to be doing, please, all of you. I'm going to be checking this every day. It means in the conversations, and I'm going to be checking this in classes. And I can ask any of you. All right. For example, tomorrow I can say, please, Annalise, tell me what are the 3 new words that you learned by yourself. All right. You have to do this. Here it says it can be 3 daily words or it can be 10 daily words. That's up to you. Of course, I could tell you you're going to learn 10 new words every day. It's possible, but you need time. And I know that, of course, you work, you have your activities and so on and so forth, right? I'm not going to ask you 10 words per day. I'm only asking you 3 new words per day. And the only thing you have to do, all right, you don't need to memorize even. Look for those 3 words and the definitions. And the day I ask for those words, you have to read that. That's it. All right? You don't need to memorize anything. You're not going to prove me that you know those words. You are only going to read the definition of those words. All right? Is that clear? All right, good. So in the second part, you have something that is a good idea too, but it's not always possible. It says learn groups, right? Words in groups, right? Or groups of words. It's not always possible to do this, but if you can do it, it's better, right? It's better. For example, do you know what's a collocation? It's something referred to grammar. I'm going to give you the example. For example, this is a collocation. Depends on. That's a collocation. Interested in. That's a collocation, right? Think about. That's a collocation. So a collocation is a group of words that always goes together. All right, they cannot be separate, and you cannot use other words. For example, it is incorrect if you say it depends in. That is incorrect. All right, it depends at. It's incorrect. It always depends on. Interested in. That's always like that. To be interested on is incorrect. Jaime, hello. I can hear you, but your volume is very, very low, Jaime.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, but it's still as if you were very far, Jaime. I can hear you, but your microphone, okay, the volume of your microphone is kind of very low.
What about now?
Okay, yes. Now it's way better, Jaime. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Sorry for
Good
being late.
afternoon, Jaime. Don't worry. Thank you for being here. All right. So please try to do this. If you want to learn some words, learn single words. It's up to you. But if you want to learn a group of words, but it's not like this, try to word some collocations. All right. That is going to be very useful because you are going to know. And this is a rule also about this. I remember that I made a correction to all of you. After think, you have to use these prepositions. Think about, think of. If not, again, it's going to be incorrect. Interested in, depends on, and so on and so forth. So try to learn these words or single words. It's up to you. All right? Let's go now to the second part. Please, Viviana, this time, read the title of this strategy and read the first point, please.
Okay, improve your pronunciation. You might know a lot of words, but if you fail to say them correctly, you will not be understood.
Thank you very much. This is important, again, because it doesn't matter if you have your accent. Of course, we are Spanish-speaking people, and we're going to have an accent. And of course, native speakers are going to realize, right, that kind of thing. But it doesn't matter, right? The accent is going to be there. Perhaps you can really have, okay, a really good accent, and it's going to be like, wow. But the thing here is not about the accent. It's about pronunciation. And pronunciation is good or bad. And you can have an accent or not. It doesn't matter. The thing is that you need to know how to pronounce these words. If not, you're going to be misunderstood. Remember, this is something we saw the last course. Instead of using negative, you can use the word or the prefix mis, right? You can be misunderstood if you don't, right, pronounce the words correctly. And there is a part of a video that I want you to see, okay, right now. All of you are going to watch the first part of the video and are going to tell me, of course, here's like an insult. Not an insult, let's say a bad word, quotation marks. But it's really funny if you get to understand it. All right, it's a girl who is from Venezuela. Perhaps you know her. She's a YouTuber, and she works on these shorts. and it's really really funny. You're going to see. But the thing is that the guy, all right, I'm going to be giving you the context because I'm going to give you the link right now. The thing is that the guy, all right, who is American, is going to her house, and the people who live there, of course, they speak Spanish mainly, and they speak a little bit of English, but their English is not as good, so their pronunciation is kind of not that good either. All right. So give me a second. What I'm looking for, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this. The thing is that this person, all right, starts communicating with them in Spanish, but it's not possible. And they try to do the same in English, but it's not possible too. Because there are some words that can have and can, right, be misunderstood if you don't pronounce them correctly. All right. So please, I'm going to ask you just 1 second. All right, and I'll be sending you the link to the chat. There you go. Again, it's 5 minutes, but I want you to watch perhaps only 2 minutes of this, and we are going to discuss this topic. So please take a look at your chat and go to that link and watch 2 minutes of that video. All right, only 2 minutes, please. And there you go. All right, again, the link is in the chat. Try to watch only the first 2 minutes.
Jose, do you want me to watch like by ourselves?
Yes, please, do it by yourselves.
Okay, 2 minutes, right?
Yes, yes, please, 2 minutes, only 2 minutes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Teacher, I don't know why my computer it's bad. It's not working. Can you send the link to the WhatsApp group, please?
Of course, I'm going to do it right now.
Watch the video in my cell phone because I don't know what happened with my computer.
Okay, I'm going to do it right now, Valentina. All right, it's loading. Please give me 1 second. Okay, it's here. Okay, it's in the WhatsApp group, Valentina.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. All right, you must be finishing. Perhaps you can watch 2 minutes and 10 seconds or 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And you're going to see two, right? Things that happen there. So I'm going to be waiting for you. Okay, so let's try to begin, guys. You're still there. I want to know, Valentina, were you able to watch at least 2 minutes and something there?
Yes, teacher. I
All right,
watched
thank
the
you very
2
much.
minutes.
Thank you very much. What about you, Annalise? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, were you able to watch the 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 10
Yes.
seconds, more or less? Tommy?
Yes, I watched.
Okay, thank you very much. What about you, Viviana? Are you there? Were you able to watch 2 minutes and something?
Yes, teacher.
All right. Andrea, what about you?
Yes, I saw. I saw.
All
Yes.
right, thank you very much. What about you, Maria Elena?
Yes, teacher, I
All
saw it.
right, thank you. And what about you, Jaime? Were you able to watch it?
Yes, I watched it. It was really funny.
All right, thank you very much. Great. So, again, what was the problem there? That's again, that they make it this right in form of comedy and so on. But as you were able to see, there are very, very simple words that can have a different meaning if you don't pronounce them correctly, right? And again, it doesn't matter. We're in class, this is academic, but it doesn't matter. We're going to use those words. But who can tell me what was the first misinterpretation? What was the first word or group of words that they understood differently? Who can tell me?
Focus.
Yes, exactly. To focus, right? To focus. But what was the mistake with the family's pronunciation, right? Who can tell me what was the mistake? Again, it doesn't matter. You can say any word.
Fit.
One more time, please.
You know, the
mistake,
plural
right?
of. I always have problems with this one. The plural of tooth.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so you're referring to the second word already, right, Jaime? Exactly. The second word was teeth, right? Teeth. Exactly. Tooth and teeth. So there's this word that you know is the TH, right, pronunciation, the TH pronunciation. For example, I remember when I was practicing with one of our, well, the teachers that work with us, and he said that I can notice that some people are not like native speakers, even if they sound sometimes as native. The TH pronunciation is one of those words, right, that they can notice very, very quickly. But we, as a Spanish speaking, right, people, we don't realize. For example, saying the or there, right, there, not there, right? Or saying they and they, right? What is the meaning between they and they? Who can tell me which one is which word? What is they and what is they? Anybody wants to try that?
Day is like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they is pronoun.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Viviana. They is a pronoun, right? They. Over there, right? They are over there. And day refers to any day of the week. It happens the same with the second word here, right? Teeth, right? Teeth is the plural of tooth, right? Of tooth. But of course, if you mispronounce that and you say teeth, what are you telling? You're talking about breast, right? The breasts, right? The women breast. So that can be a big difference over there. And what was the word that the guy understood instead of focus? Who can tell me that?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, remember the family tried to say focus, right? Focus, but they couldn't do it because they were right mispronouncing the word. What was the word that the American guy was listening or hearing instead of focus?
Fuck you.
Very close. He was listening like focus, right? Focus, which is not the same. That's a bad word with the object as, right? It was saying this. Again, I'm going to write this in the chat. This was like the mispronunciation they had. They wanted to say,
Jose,
tell me.
Jose, I don't know if the girls in the class have the same problem, but the only one of the words that is like that I'm always having problems with is the beach. The other one.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah, and actually they mentioned this word after this. I don't know if you got to that part. It was after in the video also they mentioned this video. And look, I'm going to teach you right now that little difference. It's very, very little, but there's a difference. All right. For example, that's the first mistake. The family was trying to say that word, but he was hearing this word because they were mispronouncing the word, and that's a big mistake. Right? That is a big mistake. And then the grandma was trying to say something, which was this one, right? Teeth. She wanted to say teeth, but what was that guy hearing? He was hearing teeth or teeth, right? Which of course is something very, very different. And the word that you're saying, exactly, this is the second mistake. If you watch a whole video, you're going to see that. They wanted to say that beach, right? That's a beach, like E, all right, like E, beach. But this one is not like E. This is more like more between E and like beach, okay, beach. So that's like the main difference over there. It's like this. Look, how do you pronounce these words, guys? It's in the chat. If you take a look at the chat, I'm writing the words there. All right.
So it's like the first one would be, let me see, beach.
Exactly.
And the other one would be bitch.
Bitch. Exactly. All right. Like all right. That's the main difference.
It sounds
like
the same, teacher.
When I was living at the US, one day I said, "Let's go to the beach," and everyone looked at me at me. Sorry.
Yeah, it happens. And there also, again, it's like little details. It's like this word. If you read the first verb, that's it. But the second that is a pronoun is not it. That's like it. All right, it's. So it's a little bit different. Again, we don't notice this when we are speaking, but there's difference, right? There's difference between those words and so on. All right. What else? What else can you tell me about the video? Who can explain a little bit what happened until the second minute? Let's try to do it part by part. Annalise, try to tell me what happened at the very beginning of the video. How can you explain that? Who was that guy, all right, who was on the stairs, if you remember? Try to explain.
The cousin?
Okay. What else? Tell me everything you can remember, please. Perhaps in the very first seconds and when the guy is entering into the house.
So she's introducing her boyfriend to her family, and he's confused because all speak in Spanish, and he doesn't understand the language. And she said all of the that he doesn't speak Spanish, and all of them show a bad face, and he tried to speak Spanish, but he can't. and he doesn't understand everybody,
All right. Thank you
and
very
he
much.
has
That's
problem,
more.
right?
Exactly, right? He tried, but of course, he said, right, that he was a little bit distracted when he had to learn Spanish, right, in high school. But at the end, right, they started speaking English, but of course, not in a good way, right? What else? Valentina, if you can tell me now, what happened after that when they tried to speak some English with him?
The family,
Okay.
teacher. I don't
Yeah.
know what's happening with my computer. Okay,
All
now.
right.
That the family tried to speak in English with him, but they don't pronounce very well some words that
Okay.
has another meaning, as we were talking about
Exactly.
before. So he understand um, wrong, and it's something that uh, I don't know if to my other partners happened when we travel to another country. You are talking with, as for example, a person from the USA, and you don't pronounce very well a word, and they start laughing about you.
Yeah, 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 that's correct. But that's going to happen, right? When we, right, are welcoming a person that is from the US and they try sometimes to speak Spanish, and they sometimes, without wanting it, right, they mispronounce some words in Spanish and it sounds funny as well. It's kind of embarrassing, right? But I think it's the best way of learning. If you are surrounded by people who speaks English only, or in the case of Americans, right? If you're surrounded by people who only speak like Spanish over there. So that's it. Thank you very much, Valentina. Now this is a question for all of you. Why did the grandma, right, started talking about her teeth, right? What was the first question, or why she was asking about her teeth? Anybody?
Because the guy is a dentist.
All right, great, exactly. Because he is a dentist, right? He is a dentist. And she started saying something with this word that was mispronounced, right? And of course he was, and he got scared. And he didn't know what to do because he thought something weird was going on, right? Something weird was going on over there. Now, I would like to listen to some of your experiences because I think some of you, as Valentina was mentioning, had the chance of being abroad, right? Of being abroad. I would like to listen to some of those experiences. I think Valentina, Maria Elena, of course, or Jaime, Annelise, I think you too, I'm not sure. All of you, all the ones who've been abroad, try to tell us, please, one experience that you had over there. Perhaps other people from other countries who had a weird pronunciation, or as you were saying, Valentina, they sometimes laugh at you because, of course, you were mispronouncing or you didn't know how to say a word. Tell us one experience, please. I'm going to listen to all of you.
When I was in Japan, I have some friends that start my name that put me a nickname that was Sofia Vergara, and
Okay.
I thought that was because I was a gorgeous woman, but it wasn't, because they told me that yes, I look like a Sofia Vergara, but they do this, but you speak like like Sofia Vergara, because they told me that my accent was so Latin that made me
Okay.
to try to improve my pronunciation.
All right, all right. That's cool. I think that's not like an insult, right? Of course, it's not, but it's cool. I mean, sometimes. And did you know until that time, Valentina, did you really know that you had that accent at that time?
Yes, I knew it.
Okay,
And
okay,
the people that put me that nickname were Latin girls, so that was
okay,
more fun for me. Yes, but I
okay.
know that I still have a little bit Latin accent, but I
Uh-huh. Okay, but that's good. Of course, we're all going to be improving and we're going to be living like that kind of accent. Of course, there's always going to be a word, and be sure of this, right? There's always going to be a word or a consonant that is going to make the native speaker say, okay, he is not native, but not in a bad way, because sometimes they really like these accents, right? They like these accents. So it's good. It's really good. What about you, please? Annalise, have you ever been abroad? Do you have any experience from abroad?
Yes, I think that, well, in my experience, when I talked with someone that speaks English, I don't know if it's the adrenaline, but I think that I do it really good. I don't know why, but I think when I talk with persons that aren't from a country, Spanish, a language of Spanish, I talk better with these persons. I don't know why. Maybe
Okay.
because them don't speak Spanish, but I think that I talk better with this kind of people.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. And actually, it makes sense because look, and this is weird. Again, okay, this is really, really weird. But sometimes I've been working with lots of teachers, and the ones that are American, right, native speakers, they sometimes say, "But come on, that guy, he speaks perfectly." Right? He speaks perfectly. I think there's anything else that we can teach to that person, right? And of course, they are saying that in a really good way because they really mean that. But the ones who learned English and who are not native speakers were saying, but no, I think he has some mistakes here and here and here and here. And I think it's because we, the ones who are learning English, right, know the process and know the mistakes we can have and are more like paying attention to all those little details. And of course, sometimes it's not necessary, right? Sometimes it's not necessary doing that. It's better just practicing, but it makes sense. Yeah, I've seen that sometimes people who learned English are more like demanding, right? Demanding than the ones that don't, of course, because the ones that don't and only speak English, they are surprised of how well you can speak a language that is not yours. So I really get that idea, and it's interesting, Elise. Thank you very much. What about you, Maria Elena? You also told me that you were abroad and you had some experiences. Are you there?
Yes, teacher, I'm here. Um, well, I don't have any experience, but with a friend who I met in one beautiful pageant. She's from India. It was so difficult to me to understand because her pronunciation is like weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
that is correct.
yeah, but I think we always get confused if we are learning another language, and I think this happen when you are learning Spanish or Portuguese. For example, in Spanish, you have some word that in Portuguese has another meaning that is um, not good, not good things.
Yes, that is correct. There are some words right in Portuguese that sometimes they are similar and they mean the same, but sometimes they have a completely different meaning, right?
Exactly.
All right. Maria Elena, at the end, your microphone was like very far, or maybe you were covering the microphone because your voice.
Okay,
Okay,
now
no,
you can hear me.
yes,
Okay, sorry,
nice.
teacher.
Okay, but it's great. Let's talk about a little bit right of that experience with the friend you had that was from India. So yeah, perhaps it's really hard because the ones that are from India, they have a really, really like a strong accent.
Exactly.
Okay, a
Yes.
really, really strong accent. You
Yeah.
notice immediately, and maybe it's because of the consonant. The good thing about
Mm-hmm.
us, right, the Spanish speaker ones, is that we share, right, let's say some roots with not only French and so on, but also with English, right? We share some roots. But the ones, for example, that are from India, the ones that are
Mm-hmm.
from China, right?
Exactly.
They are
Another girl. It's when who is from Vietnam
Hmm.
and also has a weird pronunciation. And I was like, can you please talk more slowly? I can understand something like that.
Yes, yes, and sometimes happens. Of course, not always, because anybody can really have a really good accent, right, with good pronunciation. That's the thing. But what we're saying here is that sometimes, right, their accent is so strong that it's really hard to understand what they are saying. And of course, other people can say the same about us, right? Perhaps we are closer to English, we're closer to the culture, and we're more used to that kind of accent. But of course, it's going to be different. I don't know if you have experience with someone that is from Ireland. All right, I'm going to show you also a little part of a guy. It's also another YouTuber, and he's from Ireland, and he's playing with that accent, okay, the Irish accent, but it's really impossible to understand. And you're going
Yes.
to see comments there, right, from Americans, from British, and they say that they don't understand what that guy is saying because it's
Yeah.
an English that is really impossible to understand. Have you ever heard an Irish accent, Maria Elena?
Yeah, but yes, but I heard from this movie, is Brave. I don't know if you see it.
Okay, okay,
It's
I
it's
think,
from it's from Disney Channel.
okay,
From I
all
don't know.
right,
Yeah,
Valiente.
yeah, exactly. And
okay.
I wanted to practice my English, and I put that in English. Oh my God, the English was so hard, and I was, I can't understand.
Yes, yes. If you
Yeah.
challenge yourself by watching some movies and some series in English, right, and that they have these strange locations, yeah, it's going to be a really challenge to understand that accent. Okay, all
Yes.
right, that's good. So thank you very much, Maria Elena. I'm going to go
You're
now
welcome.
to please Jaime. You had a lot of time over there, right? And you had some friendship with people who were abroad, not only from the US, also from other countries. Can you tell us perhaps one or a couple of experiences that you had there? You, for example, mentioned one, right, related to the beach. Let's talk about other ones.
Let me think. One of them was really fun. It was not about mispronunciation or my pronunciation was wrong. It was but that I didn't know the word. So, for example, you know that I don't know if you ever been for Virginia on those sides. There are a lot of
Uh-huh.
deers that
Yeah,
comes to the road, and some of the cars hit them and kill them because that is it's their habitat, the
yeah,
roads are in their space, so they just try to cross the street, and sometimes you go over them. It's bad
yeah,
experience, but
yeah.
that happened to me. We were driving, and one deer would just cross the street. That was really bad situation. But it was the second day that I arrived to them, so I didn't know how to speak very well. Just that basically, I think that happened always. It happened me with another languages. I understand what they say, but the hardest part of everything is try to speak. You know.
Yes, that's
Um,
correct.
so I was trying to explain them the situation because I never see a deer so close like when I was there. So I was trying to say like this deer crossed the street, but I didn't know what was the word for deer, like for venado.
Okay,
So
yes,
I
yes.
was I was I was thinking, and they were like, "Going on, like keep telling us the story." I was like thinking, and then I say, "Have you ever seen Bambi?" They start
Okay.
laughing at me. I was like, "You say Bambi? That's a Disney Channel." I was like, "That's the only way that I know to
All
make me
right.
understand." But I didn't know another way to they understand what I was saying.
Okay, but they were able to understand then because they knew that
Yeah,
you
but
were
they were
talking about
laughing
deers.
so bad, and they were bothering me until the last day I left college with that word. It was my first experience at the US.
Okay, yeah, maybe they could have chosen that as a nickname, right, Bambi? But it's
But
good. It's
thanks,
great.
thanks God, it was not my nickname. Thanks God.
That's good. That's great. Okay, thank you very much, Jaime. So yeah, and that's also a good example. If you remember the strategy that we were taking a look in the at the first class, right? It says don't use Spanish, explain, right, in your own words. And that's a clever way of doing it. You perhaps didn't give details about that animal, that you didn't know, right, the name in English, but you were able to make the comparison with a movie that it was, of course, a movie that everybody knows. And of course, through that example, they were able to understand. And that's clever. Again, that's something that you must do. You must look for ways to be understood, right?
You know what? You know what was the funniest part of everything? I haven't ever seen Bambi in my life. I just saw the cover and I know that it's about a deer. But they made me
Okay.
to watch that. They made me to watch that movie because I said about that movie, and I was really. That's a really sad movie, you know. I never
Yeah.
imagined that was so sad.
Yeah, yeah, it is sad. Okay, but it was good for you because you also watched the movie for the first time. Good. All right. Thank
Thank
you
you, thank you.
again. And I don't know, what about you girls? Viviana and Andrea, have you ever had any kind of experience? Have you ever been abroad or perhaps having a conversation with someone that is from abroad that you can remember or tell us, or only listening to something that was impossible to understand? What do you say? Viviana and Andrea, please.
Teacher, what is abroad?
Abroad is like outside your country. All right,
Oh,
outside
okay,
your country.
okay.
And in this case, it can be, of course, it will be ideal that is an English speaking country, but it doesn't matter. Any country in which you had interaction with someone who was speaking English.
Okay, I think that one of the experience, may perhaps not mine, but we went on a cruise with all my family, and one of the places that we down is Jamaica,
Okay, okay.
and the I don't know the people in Jamaica. I don't know the name that they have. Jamaicans maybe
Okay, yes, yes.
have a really difficult to understand. Their English is like so strange because they have another language, but they talk in English to the tourists. So
Yes.
their accent is very difficult. So I couldn't understand them, and my father didn't speak doesn't speak English at all. We when we are on the beach, we have to make a tour, and one of the natives are like saying, I can give you this for $20. I can give you and see all the beaches and sorry beach. I don't know if it's correct.
It's okay, okay, yes, the beaches.
Okay, all the beaches, and my father. Here we have the tradition to low the price if you talk and say I don't have 20, I have 10. Regatear, it's here, but
Okay, okay.
and my father, I don't know how did he do that, but he talks to the guy that I really can understand that I talk in English and my father doesn't talk English, and make a low price for us. It was
Oh, really?
so surprising. Yes, I don't know, with maybe his hands and like his showing a little words like no, less. I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting because without knowing right how to speak English, she was able. You can use the last word in the chat. All right, that's very close to the word you said to bargain. It's
Okay.
try to say, okay, I know I want to pay less. I want to pay. No, it's less is better. And the first word is, for example, Bolivians, Americans, right? French. That's called demonym. All right, demonym. That's of course the way you call people that is from a certain country. All right. And of course, yes, it's Jamaica.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Okay. So your father was very clever to do that without knowing how to speak. All right.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Viviana. So, and it's, yes, and it's right. Jamaica, these places, many places in the Caribbean, right? They have these also very strong accents. And again, also some Latins or Latinos as they call too, but not everybody, I would say. It's like the ones, and it's weird. The ones that live close to the border with the US are the ones who have a really, really strong accent that is very Latino, but also they know many, many words in English. It's a mixture because they really speak this what they call Spanglish, right? They use Spanglish there. So they use the accent in Spanish, right? But they are speaking English. And it's really, really hard to understand, again, that kind of accent over there. And also because in the US, there are communities, right? And it's weird, but if you go to the US, you can live your entire life speaking Spanish there, all right? Because there are communities, entire communities, in which the school and everything is in Spanish. So it's weird. So I've met, for example, some people that are Americans that are from the US, but they have a really bad English. All right, their English is really bad because they only learn what they need, and so on and so forth. All right, so let's go to the next part, please. Andrea, with you, do you have any experience with someone or with something related to English and mispronunciation? Please, I would like you to tell us.
I never been outside of South America, so I always travel to countries that speak Spanish. But from my work, I work with people that is from Italy or Portugal. That when we at first we didn't understand between us so much, so we tried to speak in English. But I think I'm too lazy, so for example, I have a friend from Italy, and he learned to speak Spanish fast, really fast. So we end up speaking Spanish.
Okay, all right, but that's
talk to him in Spanish more than in English.
all right. You're saying that. Well, where was that person from?
Italy. And
Italy.
I have another friend from Portugal Portugal que también he also learned to speak Spanish quickly.
Yes, yes. It was easier for them to learn Spanish than communicating using English.
Yes.
All right, all right. Yes, because we share many roots, right, as we were mentioning. So perhaps it's easier, way, way easier. Yes, and I've met also some people who are from Italy, Italians, who have a really, really good accent. And of course, because it's not that different, but you can notice that they are from Italy if they are speaking. They really sound like Spanish speakers, right? So it's really noticeable. Perhaps the people that speak Portuguese, it's a little bit more noticeable, right? Because Portuguese is a
Yes,
little
but
bit
they have a
harder.
different accent that people from Brazil, for example, is a little bit harder to understand them.
Yes, yes, there are many differences. Like for example, the Spanish here, right? The Spanish from Latin America and the Spanish that they use in Spain, right? And also the United States and England, right? It's that European accent that is, let's say, like the root of everything, and the American accents that we have here, English, Portuguese, and Spanish, that are different because it's a mixture between that language and the languages we have locally, right? So it has an impact in the language as well. All right. So thank you again. Okay, thanks to all of you for sharing all these things. I think it's important. Again, this is really important. We were talking about this, and here, this is something that it's advice for you. Just go and verify the pronunciation. You have online dictionaries. That is the first thing you should do, right? You have Cambridge and Oxford. Those have, I think, really interesting things there, and you can check the pronunciation for both the British English and the American English. So try to take a look at those words and try to verify if you're doing a good job. And also, I don't know if you remember this page, Youglish. Go there again. If you don't know how to pronounce a word or you want to be sure that you're doing a good job, go to Youglish, type that word, and you're going to find the accents, not only American, but also British accent and the Australian accent, right? And that's good. You should be able to understand all, right, the accents, or well, as many accents as possible. It's not, of course, that you're going to be able to do it, but at least the most common ones that are the American, the British, and the Australian accent. If you get to understand those differences, it's going to be easier for you, right? Not only to pronounce, but also to speak fluently. All right. So again, please remember this. Um, we're going to do it one activity right now that is very similar to the previous one, and you're going to be applying this. But remember this, please don't forget. You have to learn 3 new words per day. All right. Tomorrow, I'm going to be asking you in your private conversations, or sorry, it will be on Monday directly in class. All right, in class, I'm going to ask each of you, all right, 3 new words. And in that way, if you realize we're going to be learning more because you're going to listen to your partner's new words. Read the word and the definition. Don't forget about that, please, because that's going to be included in the 30%. All right, that's 30% of the whole score. Being in class, participating, and this extra activity that is looking for 3 extra words every day. Okay, that's the thing. Please don't forget about that.
Like we
And
have to say you we have to tell you about the 3 new words every class, or how would I have to
yes, please,
do it?
Jaime. I'm going to tell you, Jaime, please, the 3 new words that you learned. You don't need to memorize. You can read it, and you're going to tell me this word, and the meaning of the word is this one. That's it. All right. That's the only job.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. This is the last thing we're going to learn now. Well, to read before going to the last activity. Please, let's do it. Today is Friday. Okay, we finish this and we're going to go to rest. Please, Maria Elena, are you there?
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Perfect. Read, please, the title of this strategy and the first part of it, please.
Okay. Learn the natural flow of English. Being able to say individual word correctly is great, but the secret of speaking fluently lies is the flow of sentences. Whenever you read a piece of poetry, listen to a melodic song, or watch a hilarious sitcom, pay attention to the following.
Thank you very much. Now let's read the first two points, please, Viviana.
Okay, linking. Notice how native speakers link words together, joining two sounds, making a sound to disappear or changing a sound for a better flow. Contractions. Contractions are shortened forms of two words. For example, I am, I'm. He will, he'll. They have, they've. Do not, don't.
Thank you very much. And the last part, please, Valentina. The last 2 points, please.
Stress. There are stressed syllables in a word and stressed words in a sentence. Rhythm. The rhythm is the overall result of stress, contractions, and linking. It is the ups and downs, the musical
Feature?
feature of English.
Thank you very much. All right. So again, this is really important. If you pronounce well, it's great. But now that you pronounce well the words that you really need to know how to speak English because it's different from speaking Spanish. Because they say, right, they are talking about the musical feature of English. Who can tell me a synonym of feature? What is another way of saying feature?
Of say teacher?
Characteristics.
Okay, yes. In this case, it's going to be a characteristic. All right, it's something that is particular for or from that language or that anything. All right, a feature, for example, we're using Zoom, right? We're using Zoom. One of the features that Zoom has is that we can record the classes. That's a feature, right? Another feature, and that's what we're doing right now. We are streaming on YouTube. Okay, and that's something I want to remind you. Every class is directly, all right, recorded and streamed on YouTube. So if you want to see and review some things that we did in class, in the description of the WhatsApp group, you find the YouTube channel. Go there and you're going to find all the things that we're doing. All right? That's just to remind you, but it's important that we know that that's a feature of Zoom. So now let's try to understand this again before working on the last activity. What is to link? Who can explain me what what this part is meaning by saying that we link words together, that we join sounds? Who can give me an example of this in English?
For example, linking will be like, for example, a lot of Americans, and that's something that makes English people like from England goes crazy. Say, for example, I'm going to, they say I'm gonna. I want to, I wanna.
Yes, exactly, exactly. That is correct. That is correct. By making not only contractions, because there is also involved the word contraction, right? But there are sounds that are disappearing or changing. For example, saying gonna instead of going to, right? That's a way of linking sounds because you're not pronouncing that. For example, there's, well, tenses, you know, grammar and so on. But in grammar, there is one thing that is called the, let's say, I'm going to write that in the chat, the perfect modal. All right. Something, for example, if you want to talk about a possibility in the past, you have to use that. And for example, you can say, oh, I think I could have done that better. Right? I could, right, have done that better. That is like a possibility, right, for the past. It's in the chat. But they don't say could have, right? They say could have, could have. So there are sounds, like for example here, the that is not being pronounced, right? Could have or should have. That is different. And sometimes there are mistakes because of this. When they want to contract, you're going to see that some Americans, and you can check this in the chats, in forums, you can check this even on YouTube, they're going to write like this. Okay, could have done. As you can see, instead of could have done, they are writing could have done, which is incorrect. But they change the sound like that. They omit some other sounds and they speak like that, right? That's the linking part of English. In French, this is more noticeable, but English also has this feature, right? Something close to that are contractions. This also is something very helpful, right? Now, please, someone else. Jaime was explaining the linking part. The rest of you, please, it can be again, Viviana, Andrea, Maria Elena, Valentina, and Elise, who can explain stress. And give me yes, an example, perhaps, of a difference between stress in English.
Sometimes they use stress words to emphasize, like a noun where yes, I do it, like I do that. Okay. Or the important part of a sentence.
Oh, great. Yes, that's correct. When we want to put some emphasis or emphasize, right? When we want to emphasize or put some emphasis on an answer, of course, we're going to stress the word, right? Yes, I do. Remember the auxiliary being used for emphasis? Yes, I do like that movie. That do is an auxiliary that you don't usually use there, but you're using it because you want to set some stress, right? Oh, no, I don't like it. That's some stress. But also, there's one other part. Many people believe that we don't have like this physical accent, right, that we have in Spanish. For example, in the word canción, the last part is stressed, right, on, because we have that physical accent there. And we actually know and have something similar in English. This question is going to be now, please, for any of you, could be Andrea, Maria Elena, Valentina, or Annelise, any of you. What is the difference? I think I mentioned this once, and it's in the chat. What is the difference between, right? Let me remember this. Okay. This word, the word is there. Conflict and conflict. What is the difference between that word pronounced with different stress? What is a conflict and what is conflict? What do you say?
Conflict is a bad situation, and conflict is when someone are in a bad situation, maybe.
Okay, okay. One more time. Which one is the bad situation and which one is when you are in a bad situation?
Conflict is when you are in a bad situation, and conflict is a bad situation.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to know the other people opinions, please. What about you, Valentina? What do you think is the difference between conflict and conflict?
Conflict and conflict. I don't know.
The first one is the stress is in the first syllable, right? Conflict. And the second one, the stress is in the second syllable, conflict. What do you think is the difference in terms of meaning in those words? Any idea, Valentina?
No, teacher, I don't know.
All right, don't worry. What about you, Maria Elena? Do you have any idea between the difference?
Maybe it's the same meaning, but I don't know. Maybe one of those is like the right pronunciation. I don't know.
Okay. Yes. You're giving ideas. You're saying that one of those is mispronounced and the other one is pronounced correctly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And the last one, please, Andrea. What do you think about that? What do you think is the difference in meaning, if there's a difference between conflict and conflict?
Conflict is when you have a dispute or a misunderstanding.
Okay.
And when you are not agree with another opinion, and I don't know, conflict, the other one is when you are between two decisions to make or don't know what to do.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. So I have all your opinions and all your explanations, right? Just one thing over there, Andrea. Remember, we're going to say when you don't agree instead of using the verb to be. With agree, we are only going to use that verb, right? I agree or I don't agree. So, okay. Now, here it goes. This applies for many other words, and we're going to learn this perhaps next week, okay? Some words have different meanings depending on where the stress is. Conflict is a noun and conflict is a verb, right? Conflict is a problem, all right? Conflict. But conflict is a verb, and it means that there are two things that are not working because, for example, you have the same schedule for your classes at the university, and it's the same schedule for the English classes you have with me. So you can say that your schedules conflict, and that's why you cannot attend one of those classes. All right? So again, conflict, a noun, a problem. Conflict is the verb, the action in which two things are happening perhaps at the same time. And that's why you cannot do one of those things. All right. So that's important to know also, and be sure that there are rules to know where the stress is in English. It's not anywhere, right? There's a stress in English, and it's important to know. And the last one, please. I don't know, could be here Annelise, could be also Andrea, Maria Elena, who can explain what rhythm is in your own words. What do they mean with rhythm? Anything? All right, let's try to interpret with your words. Annelise, what do you say?
Sorry, can you spell the word?
Spell the word, the rhythm?
Rhythm?
No, rhythm. It's the word that is here, right? It's R-H-Y-T-H-M.
Ah, okay, rhythm. I think the rhythm is, for example, when someone sing, have a rhythm that is the time how you sing a song, maybe, or
Okay.
a rhythm of some song too is a rhythm.
Okay, yes. And actually that's what they are mentioning here, right? The ups and downs and the musical feature of English, right? You are correct. And it's related with time, right? Something that is happening at a certain time, right? Because it has a flow, right? That's also a very important word, right? It has a specific flow that you are following in English. All right. Now, with this, please, we're going to go now to the practice again, because again, this is listening and speaking. You have another lecture. Remember, some of you were in the previous class, you were working on a lecture that you have to listen to, and you have to explain that lecture in 1 minute, 1 minute and 30 seconds, perhaps maximum 2 minutes. All right, we're going to do the same. Some of you were not in the last class, but again, it's very simple. I'm going to copy and paste a link in the chat, and I'm also going to send the link to the WhatsApp group. Download that audio file or listen it there. And after listening to it, we're going to do this here and now for 5 minutes. After listening to that very short lecture, you are going to explain in your own words and record yourself. And I don't know if you were not here the last class, you saw that some of your partners sent recordings to the class, right? That's what they did. So do the same, please. Okay, we're going to do the same. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, I'm going to send the link right now to the chat and to the WhatsApp group. And you're
Jose,
going to start listening to this. Jaime, tell me.
I don't understand what we have to do. Sorry, I wasn't in the last class.
All right. So, Jaime, I'm going to send a link that is an audio file. It's a lecture. It's like a professor or someone explaining something about any topic. Okay, that's what I'm going to send. What you need to do is listen to that lecture, listen to that file, and after listening to it for 1 or perhaps 2 times, you are going to record yourself using your cell phone, and you are going to explain what you were able to understand of that file. All right. For example, you can say it was a class of, I don't know, music or history. The teacher was talking about, or the professor was talking about this, and that. All right. And you have to explain a little bit about the topic that that person was talking about. And that's it. You have to record yourself for 1 minute, maximum 2 minutes, explaining everything that you were able to understand. And you're going to send that recording to the WhatsApp group. Okay, we're going to do this now in class. Before finishing everything, we're going to do this now. All right? Great. So look, the link is already in the chat, and it's also in the WhatsApp group, the link.
Jose,
Tell me, Jaime.
Jose.
Yes, Jaime?
So we just send that to the group, like the audio file.
Exactly. Just send your answer, what you were able to understand, what you recorded, right? Explaining what happened, and send that to the group.
Okay, Jose, I'm using my phone because I don't know what is going on with my computer. So I have to drop off the class, do this, and then I'm gonna come back to the class. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay. That's what your partners did. If you're using your cell phones, please, you can leave the class for, let's say, some minutes, record, send the recording to the group, and come back to the class. Please, and come back because I'm going to explain a little bit about the work for Monday, and then we're going to leave. All right? Start, please. 5 minutes and listen to the file.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Teacher, I am with my cell phone.
Yeah, go listen to it. If you have to leave the class to listen and to record, do it. But everybody, please try to listen to what you need to listen and to record until 7:30 as maximum. And at 7:30, come back, all right? And we're going to finish the class with some advice for the Monday class, all right?
Okay, okay, teacher, it's okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Bye.
All right. I think your partners are going to be back at any moment. Their recordings are going to be there, but of course, we're not going to have time to analyze them today. So we're going to do that on Monday. But it's important that all of you send the recordings there. All right. Now, you're still working on that. At least, Andrea, you were able to do it. I think. I hope that Valentina was not recording and I'm not interrupting that. Okay. But Andrea, first that you finished, do you have any specific questions about what you need to do for Monday? Remember that Monday is the very first oral presentation. It's like a lot of freedom over there. There are not many things that you need to follow. But of course, all these strategies are going to be evaluated. How you write, use some synonyms when you don't remember words, how you avoid using Spanish. Andrea, are you there?
Yes, yes, Jose Luis.
Okay, Andrea, tell me. I don't want to speak that loud because I don't know if Valentina is still recording. Do you have any specific questions about what you need to do for Monday? Remember that it is the very first oral presentation, and all of you, Monday is going to be dedicated to that. You making the presentations. Do you have any questions of what you have to do?
We have to do a presentation about any topic, right?
That's correct. About any topic you want. Right now, there's no structure, right? But you need to follow the strategies that we were following. It means I'm going to be listening to your pronunciation. I'm going to be listening to the stress, right? I'm going to be listening to how you use synonyms, how you avoid using Spanish, and so on and so forth. And that's more or less going to be like the parameter for the class. I don't know. I think all of you, well, I think some of you are still missing, but please take this into account, okay? All of you are here. We're going to finish the class. Maria Elena is not here, but let's finish the class with you, please. Again, Monday, remember, is going to be for the oral presentation. Any topic you want. Please try to be on time because anybody can start the presentation. 10 minutes. It's going to be with the structure you want. If you want, you can add introduction. I don't know. It's up to you. Later on, I'm going to give you the parameters. But right now, it's up to you. I want to see how you organize your ideas, how you organize your topic. And on the basis on that, I'm going to see that you need to improve your skills for your presentations. All right, that's really important. 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be less than 10 minutes. That's really important. It has to be 10 minutes. That's why we're going to have a timer. All right, we're going to have a timer, 10 minutes, and it's done.
Jose,
And tell me, Jaime.
so the topic that we're going to choose for this lecture or this presentation will be the same for the following 3 Mondays?
It could be the same. If you want, you can make that even more complex. If you change the complexity, if you change the approach, and you're going to have a different, let's say, topics or subtopics inside that topic, it's okay. But it needs to have a variation at least. If you're going to talk, for example, about a diet, the first topic is going to be the certain foods that are good for a good diet. The second presentation could be about I don't know, the negative aspects of a diet, right? What can happen. So it can change, but it can be the same topic, but with different approaches.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So again, any question that you will have, please let me know. It's important because all of you are going to have that presentation on Monday. There is no order yet. That day we're going to decide that. Anybody can start, but please, it's important that you're on time because either you can start or it's important that you listen to the other person presentations to know more or less how that's going to be. Okay, with that said, and if you don't have more questions, please, you have the poll as always. answer it, and you can leave the class. All right? Again, what's it going to be evaluated is something related to the strategies that we've been working on.
Thank you, teacher. See you Monday.
Teacher, see you on
Bye.
Monday.
You're welcome.
Bye.
See
Thank you,
you.
teacher. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Sorry,
one-
teacher, I couldn't hear what we have to do on Monday.
Yes, remember, it's the presentation, all right, the oral presentation. All of you are going to have 10 minutes to speak about whatever topic you want. And you have to use those 10 minutes entirely, Viviana. You have to prepare anything, for example, a presentation in PowerPoint, in which you can add anything you want. You can just write some words to help you remember something. You can add some pictures to show to the class, but you need to have a presentation. You're going to share your screen, and for 10 minutes, you're going to talk about that topic that you chose. It can be anything you want. It can be with the structure that you want. I'm only going to be evaluating the strategies that we've been learning. For example, paraphrasing, how well you paraphrase things that you don't remember. If you're using synonyms, because I'm going to notice that you cannot remember a word, so you're going to look for a synonym or another way for explaining that. That's what I'm going to be evaluating. But everybody needs to do that on Monday. Okay?
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye-bye, Viviana. Jaime, you were telling me.
Do we have to do a PowerPoint presentation, or we just have to be like talking?
Yes, please. You need to have a PowerPoint presentation. It doesn't have to be a complex presentation, Jaime. Sometimes, I don't know, even the presentations I prepare, right? They're very simple, some words over there. If you want to do it like that, if you want, you can add some pictures to illustrate what you want to say. But it's important to have a PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, thank you. That was my question.
All right. No, you're welcome. See you Monday. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.